You hear that sound? That's the sound of a baby sleeping, which means it's time for another Captain's Ready Room. Today, we're going to take a look at the old Back to the Future, and if I had a fork, I'd poke us because we're just about done. Stick around, y'all. Okay, welcome back here. Just a little quick update. Finished a lot of the sub-assemblies, so we're on the final run here to get the DeLorean finished. As you can see, I've got a lot of the time engine, I guess is what we'd call it, painted. I did a lot of referencing to the movie, particularly, again, I think I mentioned before, that scene Back to the Future 3 where Marty kind of jumps off the train onto the DeLorean. And they do this great shot that's kind of like overhead like this, so you can really see the time circuit engine. And just want to show you, we're down to like a lot of little tiny parts. You know, here's an example here. These will be painted green. Put these together. I believe they go right in there somewhere. So I'm going to do that. And one of the things I did too was to kind of give it a metallic finish. I used some metallic paint to kind of give it a little bit of a sheen and some texture to it, so it kind of looks like it's stainless steel. The rocket boosters that go on here are currently drying, and they've undergone some black paint. Some flat black is what I decided to do, even though I think I said earlier they don't always look black in the movie, particularly the first one. So I think there were some small differences, as there inevitably are, between filming models and the actual hero cars, as they call them, that they film in the action sequences, and then the actual cars that they have. So it makes it a little bit tough for us modelers who want to be accurate, but anyway, just giving you a quick look here. We'll get back to it. Hopefully next one here we'll show you is the finished product. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Just a quick just want to show you here, this is a nice shiny 2015 penny, and this is a part that goes on the back of the time engine. So just a quick little video, kind of interlude, to show you, you know, that's some flashing on either side that I got to trim off, and then this has to actually get painted. I think I'm going to do that in a kind of metallic color too, but just wanted to show you guys, this is the kind of pieces and parts that are on this little thing. For those of you interested in building this particular DeLorean. Anyway, I'll be back after this. Alright, still finishing up some of the last little details here on this model. Using a lot of this chrome silver to try to give a nice shiny metallic look to some of the pieces. Because if you look at the actual filming model, there's little like metal plates and things, you know, same here, you know, on that side too. So these are pieces that go on the front end. It's also hard to tell in some of the pictures I'm looking at, but let me show you bring this over here. This is this is kind of the front end, and so I'm working on putting some chrome on there as well, but then there's these little clips that kind of look like they attach this piece to the front bumper of the DeLorean. It's hard to tell if they're black or if there's some other color, so I'm just working to kind of do some black on them just to kind of bring out some highlights and dimension. So this is all drying, but we'll we'll see here shortly as we kind of come to the last handful of parts here on the DeLorean. Okay, see you soon. We'll be back. All right, this is really heavy. I knew I couldn't get through any segment or episode of this model build without using the joke from the movie. Okay guys, here it is. The Aoshima 1/25 scale Back to the Future DeLorean. Pretty neat build we had here. Glad it's done. An incredible amount of detail on the time engine here. Just all over the place with it. A couple things to kind of talk about with this model in case you guys are interested in it as you take a look at it. First off, like I said, back in the 90s is when I actually bought this specific kit. It sat in my parents' basement for quite a while, and I had started it. I basically did the wheels and the base underneath, and then found it the beginning of this year, which is 2015. And I'll talk about that in a second, but anyway, one of the things that happened was one of the wheels, the model's actually supposed to have a switch underneath where you flick it and it goes into flight mode, which is pretty cool. The wheels fold down and it's a pretty neat concept. Unfortunately, one of the tiny little parts that make the wheels flip under broke between then and now, and so when I finally really started getting this model together, I noticed it. So what I had to do was I had to take it and basically glue it together, and now it doesn't fly. So kind of like the letter that Marty gets from Doc Brown at the beginning of the third movie, the time vehicle will no longer fly. So unfortunately, this one won't be flying. But it looks cool in driving mode anyway. I mean, it's cool to have the DeLorean. That's the first thing. Another thing was some of the parts were so tiny. Let me get you down here in the time engine. There is actually right in here these black wires. Actually, one of them even broke on me getting off the sprue. So I had to go in there and kind of glue that up and repair it. So I had little things like that happen that made the work on this kit very tedious. So if you're not into the super hyper tedious work, then just, you know, this isn't the one for you. I think Aoshima still brings this out, has this kit out, and you can get it. I bought it at Universal Studios back in the 90s, and I know I paid a significant amount of money for it, so it's probably ironically the same price today, straight from one of the internet model, you know, companies that sell models, ironically. So I would imagine, I'm guessing somewhere in the 30s is what I paid, maybe even 40 for it, if I'm remembering. Let's see if we can get it. Oh, the other thing was there was something wrong with the wheels, and I actually had to glue these wheels in. So you know, it's definitely there. So but everything on this kit has to be done in terms of assembled. So you know, like a lot of the sci-fi Star Trek kits, you know, you get a whole warp engine or whatever, and it's like, you know, you put the inserts in and you're done. What I did with a lot of it, I put chrome paint on a lot of these hoses. I gotta say, looking at the pictures of the time engine and looking at this model, it is very, very accurate, pretty darn close. I can't say that I even picked up anything that wasn't modeled, wasn't kind of screen accurate. So while the detail was painstaking and slowed me down, and the little repair jobs and the painting I had to do, you know, it was actually worth doing it, because I have a pretty screen accurate one. I don't know what the Polar Lights kits are like. So there's the car. Like I said, we can kind of give you a front view of it. You know, there's a little clock in there, some wires in the cockpit, you know, that kind of thing. So I need to get a turntable, I think. Okay, so anyway, just wanted to mention, like I said, this kit was something I had bought back in 2015, or bought back in the 90s and found in 2015. You can see where some of the wheels, kind of in the back wheels, want to turn, but not the front wheels. Anyway, so I just want to say that when I bought this kit back in the 90s, I never would have thought that in 2015, which is when this movie Back to the Future Part 2 takes place, I never would have thought that I would be finishing this model in 2015 and would be where I am today. So I put this dedication out to my family. It's been a big year for us. We had our third child born. If you watch a few videos back, I have a little dedication to him. So this model goes out to my kids and my family and my wife, because when I bought this model, I'm still kind of like coming out of high school, going into college, messing around with this stuff and not really taking it super serious. And I never would have thought today, the same year as the movie takes place in, that I would find and finish building this particular model kit. So it's just kind of cool how it sort of lined up. I'm not a big believer in all that numbers and stuff like that, but it's just neat how it kind of came together for me. So with that said, here we are, completed another build. I think, one other thing I wanted to mention in closing is I ended up switching over to some super glue because there were a couple of parts, like for example this kind of metallic piece that goes down along. It was just not fitting without a quick drying kind of super glue. So you're probably going to want to grab that too if you happen to build this kit. So used check the earlier build out, because you'll see where I used paint that makes this look stainless steel. It's actual stainless steel aluminum paint. Things like that I think really gave it a pretty cool touch. So anyway, wish I could demonstrate the little switch underneath, but sorry. I guess this is the DeLorean that got hit by lightning. So there we go. Screen accurate. Okay, folks. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. I know this was a long video to watch, this last episode, but I did have some fun building it. A lot of detail work, slowing me down. A little bit of repair work, like I said, that kind of thing. So, but I'm glad I have it. Glad I built it. Like I said, this one goes out to my family here in 2015. The future isn't written, as the end of the third movie says. We don't know what lies ahead, but it's exciting to see that some great things tend to lie ahead for all of us. So I wish everyone the best, and we'll be back with some more builds soon, and we'll see what we got next. I've got a couple of cool things coming up. So, all right, with that, God bless, and party on and be excellent to each other. We'll see you here on the Ready Room. And here's how the model stacks up. Okay, still finishing up some of the last little details. Alrighty, well, more time traveling adventures here in the Ready Room right after this.